Okay. Up and running. Imagine that everything still looks good. My very easy internet fix. I wish I'd done much sooner. Hey, we got a nice easy contract. A orbital rescue. So I'm gonna totally take that. It's a nice easy contract from Curlington. Now we do have a an asteroid heading for us, which I'm not really sure how dangerous that is. It looks dangerous. Could be nothing, right? I almost feel like I should try to find some way to get to this. It's I don't know how I'd even do that, except to fly directly at it like an idiot and then try and stop also like an idiot. So I don't know if I'm gonna even try that. The Equus is almost to min-miss, so we're gonna have to deal with that today. And yeah, I guess I did have some tweaks I wanted to make to the Decurion 2. I'm going to make those before we ever try it, because I was thinking about how I could make this a little better. I'm not really sure about this. I kind of feel like this is going to be, even though it's nearly the same delta V and everything else as a regular Decurion, it's not going to have the same thrust to weight ratio, which means it's going to spend more time fighting gravity. So I was thinking I might just lightly tweak this before I attempt to make this doable. So I was thinking probably a little extra fuel would be a good idea. So putting an extra tank on, probably pretty smart. That's for starters. And then the other thing I was thinking is, you know, why am I still using the Poodle for this? With the money we saved, we could really get away with a skiff. And I have been complaining every time I use this that the second stage is kind of underpowered. So I might as well just do that. And it's going to take down this quite a notch, actually, in terms of cost effectiveness. But I think I'm willing to do that. I don't think that's really much of a big deal. This might look better as the full version. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and save this in a second here. To get these level again. Which I seem to be effing up. There we go. Yeah, and that should still be pretty cheap. Realistically. Still a 24-ton launcher. Yeah, 1226. It's a pretty good funds to ton ratio here. I don't know how else to call that. Funds to tons. It's not supposed to rhyme. It makes it kind of awkward, doesn't it? But that puts it on point with the Optio. Ooh, and there's one other thing I wanted to do, actually, which will put it on par with the Optio, is I wanted to put a pair of these Twitch engines on, because I realized with just one engine, it was already a problem with the mainsail, but we're not doing ourselves any favor not addressing it, is having some kind of roll control. So, these have gimbal, give us a tiny bit of extra thrust, why not? And we're still in that same ballpark, probably. It was a 24-ton launcher, 1259, so yeah. Puts the Optio 1 back up on the top of the charts. Oh, and that was with the towers, though. So maybe it doesn't. Here I am building rockets again instead of actually launching them. But we'll go to the Mimis transfer shortly. It's 1242.91. That's not bad. Of course, I take the towers out because those just stay down on Kerbin and get recovered. I can't talk today, apparently, or think, apparently. Ooh. Starting to put in our price value. Yeah, I'm maybe not in my right mind today, but we're just gonna go along with it because I can. So the new version of the 24-ton launcher to LKO 1242.92 funds per ton. Anyway, now what we actually need to do is our rescue mission. So we need the Capsarier, I think? Is that right? Yes, okay. This is the one I was thinking of. So this is our space Uber. We'll be sending that up. That is a about a 5-ton payload. So we should be able to do this pretty cheap. In fact, I can probably short fuel this quite a bit, just for simplicity's sake, and get the weight down even more. It's already cut down a blader. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can't get it that low. I don't want to leave it too short fueled, even though we are just sticking to low Kerbin orbit. You know, we really don't need, well, I guess we kind of do. Decisions. Let's short fuel it a little. Get it closer to the 5-ton mark. And that then would put us in the range of the Optio 1. I was thinking to myself, if we got that light enough, we might be able to use the Decanus, but not quite. Gotta fix our staging. So of course we want the Bobcat engines and the towers to separate. Then we'll want second stage, which is where exactly? There we go. So separate the fire, and we want to drop the fairing. Will probably be after that. Okay, then the separator. Separate off the actual vehicle and activate its main engines. And that separator will also need the retrofire to deorbit the second stage so we don't leave space debris. Then a Soyuz style. Expose just the middle stage, deorbit the top section. What on earth is that? Okay, yeah. This just needs to be disabled. Drogue shoots, then main shoot. Okay, yep. This should do just fine. Time to go rescue a Kerman. So we'll wait for our Kerman to come around to us. We're going to set that as our target. We got plenty of time until the Aquis gets to Minmus to try and pull this off. I missed the refueler again, I think. Just on its really awkward orbit over and over again. It's supposed to bring its orbit back down and get it docked up to the station, but I haven't been doing that. Alright. This should be right around the ideal launch window. So main engines, up we go. Just go straight vertical until about 10,000 meters. So 10,000 meters, we'll turn into our gravity turn. So we'll turn east. Carefully, so I make sure I'm not causing our rocket to flip from too much aerodynamic forces or anything along those lines. Nice and steady. Stop that at the 45-degree angle. Start working on our apogee. So we want to boost our apogee as high as we can. Still make it shallow enough that our second stage can actually complete orbit without falling back to Kerbin. But this should just about do it. Should be about what we want. Shouldn't need too much more maneuvering. We can probably just track a little more to prograde. We're going to be a little bit behind our target. So we're just going to allow ourselves to go a little above where we're supposed to go. This is about the right time we want to ditch the fairing as well. Okay. Now we want to plan our circularization burn. I'm going to try and keep our perigee low so we can try and catch up to this thing. So there we go. About there. And then we'll lower our apogee when we get over there. And we'll be then catching up to the capsule. 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 I can't speak today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have like an aneurysm or something. I don't know. If I drop dead, I have a DNR. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm just kidding. Not kidding. Okay. So. Solar panel deploy. It's about 31 seconds away from our maneuver node. We're going to start our burn, since it's going to be a 1 minute 2 second burn. I have almost exactly enough delta V to get this into orbit as intended. I always like it when the rockets work as advertised. Granted, I'm the one that's advertising them, so if I'm wrong, it's on my own fault. But nevertheless, makes me happy. Surprised there's no Kerman in here, as I had forgotten to check and remove any Kerman, and surprisingly, things worked out. So I killed Jebediah. It was him throwing himself in a capsule he didn't belong. Okay, just a little bit of correction here. So I'll do a very reduced thrust, just to make sure we get it exact. We've got a tiny bit of delta V left in this stage, and we are going to use that at perigee to lower our apogee. Perfect. That will be 21 meters per second, so plenty that we can accomplish with just this second stage. Hey, I'm Owen. Welcome back. I do remember you. You maxed out the tech tree. Nice. I'm not quite that far along. But yes, definitely I do remember you. I said that kind of ominously. That wasn't intended. If I use the ominous "I remember you" voice, then I apologize. It's all cold and not attitude, I assure you. I guess that would take a while. Yeah, it's taken me a very long time to get that far along. Now, I did max out the engines, though. Ah, Stewie Bones finally joining. Stewie Bones, a world-famous Hitman streamer. Sarcasm abounds. So, now... we're still a little ways behind this thing. And I need to check on the Equus, which actually is probably fine. So, more time warp. One of my favorite things, time warp. And it's a joke because I fight time warping at every possible opportunity. So using our tighter orbit to catch up And it's actually not looking too bad, is it? I think we can go ahead and try and come up with an actual intersect now. Looks like this one might be the preferable. There might be some inclination difference? Yeah, there is. Aha. Wow, that's really not working out in my favor right now. What is it that I'm missing on this intersect? Is it altitude that I'm missing? It is not altitude. It looks like it's mostly timing. So I don't know why the radial is not giving me what I wanted. Guess it is a little bit. I'll have to make a secondary adjustment. Still using the second stage though, so I totally could have short fueled this. Saved a little bit of money, a little bit of weight. So I probably should have done that. And then we'll make a secondary adjustment at I'm not sure which is coming up. Descending node? Descending node, yep. So make an adjustment at descending node to change our inclination to match the target, and also try and match with radial in and radial out to our timing, because our altitude seems fine at our intersect. So just a lightning quick, it's just a 1 second burn when we get to the maneuver node. There we go. So now, an adjustment at descending node. So we'll want to burn. There we go. That away. Always forget if this is normal, anti-normal. Always mix those two up. Now, at our intersect, as we stand now, we do have an altitude problem. Okay, so we need to raise our altitude. Okay, so there's the point of diminishing return. Right there. Then we can mess with the radial. Oh, we had it. This is going to be one of those ones where I need to do a bunch of tweaking. Not to be confused with twerking. There we go. Had it. There we go. So now we've got a maneuver lined up. Another 1 second maneuver, so I'm going to throttle this down even more. Try to make it a little easier. Now, we can warp to our maneuver. We're back to what we do best. What we do best is Space Uber. We are the Space Uber service. Hello, hello. A raid, you say? To shreds, you say? Yeah, I goofed that a little bit. Still 0.3 should do. So we are going to jump that away. And our Space Uber service will once again be the pride of Kerbin. Yes, hello, and do not be shy. I only bite when it's appropriate. Now, targets. Need to aim retrograde to target. We're barely moving relative to target, which is a good thing. Let ourselves get nice and close. Stream's not going too bad so far. About to attempt a rescue if all goes according to plan. Which really means as long as I don't screw anything up. Now, and I do apologize. This part does need quite a bit of focus. Okay. There we go. So now, the rescue. And actually, before I even attempt the rescue, I'm going to get rid of this second stage of the rocket. So aim prograde. Send that off to deorbit. And now we can aim for our target. Arm the grabber. Give us just a little bit of thrust towards the craft. RCS. So we can stay on target. Alright. So we've got a Kerman stranded in there as part of our contract. We need to bring him back safely, is the main goal. But I will be actually deorbiting this space debris while we're at it. Use a little more forward thrust. Don't want to suffer from Kessler syndrome, so best that I take care of this now. We're not too far from the space station either. Is that the dark side of the moon? There's part of the moon there in dark side, also known as night, moon or night. What, oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out what lander can this, or what capsule it was. It's actually the lander can. And I booped it. I booped it, that was a bad. Okay. It's alright. That's alright. For starters, for safety, not sure if he's able to stabilize this with his jets. I don't think he can. I think he's just to let go. Whoop, and whoa, okay. There we go. As I was saying, for safety, he is going to get himself in the capsule first. So if I have to ram this a little hard, he doesn't get hurt in the process. Because those lander cans are actually not that durable. So let's go to rotation. There we go, back to linear. Let's see if we can't line this up. So ease with hope, the raid helps. Thank you kindly. I'm mostly a foodie myself, so I'm more wishing you a good meal. Alright. Now, which part of this do I need to grab this from? I'm assuming this section here. Possibly I just grabbed it too fast last time, so it shouldn't really matter where exactly I grab it. But I have had parts that have required that. There we go. Got it dead on. Let's warp around. Maybe all the way to here to start our deorbit. I want to try and get us near the KSC. I gotta still see if the Equus is... Yep, Equus is fine. On the way to Minmus. Alright. So our maneuver, of course, has changed because of the rotation of Kerbin. So we're going to realign it here. We've got plenty of fuel to try and slow down. So I can try and find a precise point I want to try and go for. We just right out near the airfield. The island airfield. It's going to be a very aggressive burn. But I'm going to go with that. I think that's what I want to do. So now with our rescued Kerman safely in the capsule for re-entry, and our grabber holding the debris so we don't leave any trash in space, I think we're good to set ourselves up for the burn. Which I was supposed to give myself way more time to try and do, and I didn't do that, so... might not have the desired results. So I'm going to activate the RCS to deorbit as well, and speed that process up. There's the Kerbal Space Center down there. So definitely overshooting significantly. Need to turn that down a little bit, I think. Ooh, it's loud. Almost a little more retrograde. We should run out of fuel just before we start hitting the denser part of the atmosphere. Yep. Almost exactly when. So we are going to ditch that garbage. Let it go do its thing. Oh, and we have slowed down significantly. About to run out of monoprop. Yeah, we're going to get some very minor re-entry heating. And there it is starting, so we're going to eject. Oop. There we are. So now I'll ride the heat shield in. Little bumpy ride for our rescued Kerman, but he's fine. Should be able to fire the drogues pretty soon. I'll give it just a little longer just to make sure it's a safe deploy. Although you don't want it to speed up too much. And let's see. Main chute needs to be soon. Soon-ish. Kind of don't want to drag out the landing sequence here, so I might just kind of ride the drogues a little longer. Yep, there's the big slowdown. And the main chute. Going for splashdown. And just a little bit of a wait there. Do I still have debris that's landed? There's the rest of the lander. Which, okay, there's still debris behind from that. I kind of want to know what just landed safely there. That was an awful fast, an awful safe landing. So, looks like I've got some debris to collect. Free money. So first off, this stuff. Launch towers. How much of this survived? It's calling it a lander as well, which I assume means it's the claw. And the capsule there. Oh, it's just the claw itself. Well, still free stuff. I'm recovering it. Getting my money back. There's one durable part there. So that was an easy contract. Got us some extra funds. Oh, beautiful. New surface outpost on Minmus. I wanted to do this. Antenna, docking port, 5 Kerbals, research lab, maintain stability, land your outpost on Minmus. Yep, we are going to take that contract because I was going to do that anyway. Now, the Equus. And that, of course, impending doom of the asteroid. One day, 3 hours. I think I'm willing to time warp that. Nothing else really is coming up, so we are going to time warp this the rest of the way to Midmas, do our capture burn, and get that off to the station. All right. So we'll time warp all the way to here. That'll let us switch on to our capture. Perfect. Then at perigee, or lowest point, do our capture burn. Ooh. Not that extreme a capture burn, please. Set the Deep Space Gateway as the target. Make sure we're heading in the right direction. At least get it close. 9.1. Mostly altitude change, actually. Get that down. Get this nice and close, and yeah, 6 is probably good. We'll have to do an adjustment at the sending node anyway, so I'm not going to bother to get it just perfect yet. And this is going to be a 19-second burn. Not that bad. We'll warp right up to there. Should have a nice smooth rendezvous at the station. We'll get this in position. So we're going to be trading out a scientist. We're going to be loading the ore for a contract to return ore to Kerbin. We will have to send down one more lander on one more ore run as well. Time warp just a little closer here. So this is actually pretty much the same rescue capsule we just used, just replacing the grabber with the ore container, and stuck atop our transfer vehicle. So a 19-second burn. We want this to be about 10 seconds away from the maneuver node when I start the burn. Alright. Too shabby, just a little bit of correction burn. Perfect. Okay. Then at descending node, we'll need to get ourselves in the correct inclination. So there we go, 0.0 degree inclination difference. And then we'll need to do the last of the radial adjustment. Oop, had it. There we go. So 0.1 kilometers, so 100 meters. That's how close we'll get to the station on that one. So we got that maneuver in 3 days. That is painful. Well, let's just warp to it. It's getting to the point I don't have a lot of busy work in the meantime. We do have... we do have our Solar Explorer satellite out into independent solar orbit, so I'll be able to switch to that afterwards. It's kind of cool. It's really just a fairing test contract, but I'm going to try and send it into the sun, if at all possible, just to say I did it. Just to say we're going to the sun. I hope. We'll see. Didn't have a lot of Delta V left on it, if I'm to be honest. There we go. A little easier, with a lot of thrust limiting to make this a more precise burn. Time warp the rest of the way up to the maneuver. Probably could have time warped it a little more than that, huh? There we go. Perfect. So 2 seconds away from the maneuver node, I'm going to start the burn. Bingo. That should be perfect. Thrust limiter back up. We're pretty close. So we're down to 200 meters is how close we're going to get. Yep, we're going to get a little bit of freezing as we get up to the loading distance of the station because the station's huge. We're going to auto-aim retrograde to target. And where is the station? Oh, right there. Okay. There we go. Start moving us towards the station a little bit. Not waste all our monoprop now. Alright, now. What port do I even want to dock this to? Probably the back of the science lab. Could either do the HAB module or the science lab, and I think I'm going to go with the science lab. So let's kind of speed this along a little bit. This should be the docking port we want right here. And we're going to dock to that with the belly dock here. Or in space terms, your nadir port. Alright, looking good. I just neglected the fact that I have all these nice, like, transfer vehicles and everything else already docked at the station. I could have totally used to pick this up instead of launching a new one. But, you know, sometimes you just feel like launching rockets. Just ask Bezos and Musk. Have you ever just been so bored you started a space program? Hasn't everybody? Alright, now. Just a little bit more. So that is the dock I want to go for. I was right. I'm going to keep us aiming prograde just so I could bring us to a dead stop when we're in front of it. I say that and then I change our heading entirely. But the idea is the same. I'm going to bring it back to prograde and then... Stop. Perfect. Now we can control from this bottom port. Line ourselves up for the dock. Yeah, definitely not aligned there. Have to go a little forward first, but as long as we're at the correct orientation, we can do the rest pretty easily. Very good. Okay, now. Just keep the prograde marker on the opposite side of the target marker from our artificial horizon marker. Let me see. Start yet? Finish no. I've got like 15 new games. I'm a starter, I have to say. I totally relate. Now, getting lined up. The one thing that's bothering me out of this is I don't have enough ore for the contract, so I do have to send down another lander again. And it would be a lot cooler if I already had that on there. There we go. Just a little off. Oh, there's going to be some auto-strut stuff enabled, isn't there? Yep. Big space stations, disable your auto-strut. That's my recommendation. Okay, that's just gonna derp its way. That looks horrible. Wow, really? There it goes. think that was everything that was auto-strutted. And it does seem to not be wobbling itself to death. So I think we're successful there. So our recent lander... See, it did manage to collect a decent amount of ore. Transfer that over. We need a total of 500 for the contract. I think we only managed something like 340, something along those lines. Ah, 360 or so. That's actually what it came out to. So I still need about 140 ore. And I do need to swap out the crew. And put our crewman that's actually landed on Minmus inside the capsule. Although I could probably just as easily take our scientist we just brought over, send her down with the lander. But, we're going to be going to the same zone we've been landing in. So not that exciting. Might go with our backup lander rather than our prime lander. I think I'm going to. So we don't have a ton of fuel on these things. And I need to come up with a new design. So let's refuel the prime or the reserve lander. Okay. Monoprop. It's probably near empty. Actually, not so bad. Refuel the monoprop. Alright. Sure, at least one of the solar panels is out. So we don't lose power. Oh, and we can put monoprop in the lander can as well. Forgot about that. So we're going to refuel that as well. Our goal will be to get down onto the Great Flats and mine as much ore as we could comfortably carry back. Which is not going to be very much. These can hold much more than they can actually launch into orbit. I don't know why I made such a goofy craft. What numbers I was looking at when I designed this. And our reserve lander has an extra complication of not having forward and reverse RCS thrusters, which was a wonderful decision on my part. So what I'm going to do... It's going to back us away a little bit once we clear under these thrusters. Avoid hitting anything. There we go. Looking good. And then once we get enough ore, we can load up the other side tanks here. And we'll send this craft with our Kerman all the way back to Kerbin. And we'll attempt to land both safely. Attempt being the key word. Oop, didn't want to leave RCS on for that. Now, extend the solar panels. Use the RCS just to make sure that our forward path is clear so we don't accidentally go full throttle into the station while we're deorbiting. And we're going to first go for a low orbit. Don't hear any explosions, which means we probably did our job correctly. Forgot we still have our temperature scanner probe as well. Should have been trying to do some temperature scans on that last pass, I think. Yep, I think I might have missed that window of opportunity. That's fine. We'll come around again. Okay, warp that around to perigee. We'll do the same thing again. Lowering the opposite side of our orbit. Okay, that should do fine. Okay, where is our... Oh, okay. Yeah, we are not where we need to be if we want to pull that off. I was looking for a rover, which is here. And that would be fine. But we want to be that sweet spot there. This is our target. And this is how we waste fuel. So you know what? Maybe I won't do that this time. Let's go to Surveyor 2. And light up the map here. See if we can't get a good landing zone that's on our current inclination. Heat map green, 60% cutoff. Bingo. Go back to our lander. All right. Kinda not really, huh? We can kinda go for right there. See if I can just do a very slight inclination change. Get us a little closer. Yeah, that should do. Overshoot it a little bit on purpose. It's not too bad. So 1 second from the burn, we'll start full throttle. Also, doing these maneuvers on the far side of mid-miss makes you feel a lot better about having my relay network. Which is doing great for us right now if I activate those. Speaking of, they're mostly in alignment. I need relay 6 to probably reduce its speed. And relay 4 probably pick up its. I think probably more relay 4 needs to slow down. What engine am I using? For this one, I'm using the Poodle, or not the Poodle, the Terrier engine. I am misspeaking. This I found is pretty good for landers. At least ones this size. Then I'd recommend the Poodle for anything larger. Let's see. I end up using this one a lot, though. Let's warp just a little closer in on our descent. And if we're landing on the ice flats, all the better. Which we are, despite the horrible lighting. Because then I don't actually need to see the ground to land properly. Good, yeah, it does look like we're landing on the ice flats. Might do a 2-burn maneuver rather than a suicide burn. Although we're really not going all that fast, I don't think. This might be the most efficient landing I pull off. So I've been very inefficient about our landings recently. What's the benefit of a suicide burn? Well, the basic benefit there, the principle behind it, is you're fighting gravity for the minimal amount of time. So if you can think, if you were going to hover, you wouldn't really be going anywhere or progressing, but you'd be fighting gravity for that entire time of the hover. That's just wasted fuel. So the idea of the suicide burn, just minimize how much you're fighting gravity for over the course of the entire landing. And we're going to go past these flats, which I don't like, so I'm going to have to do a 2-burn. Do one here. This will put me over the spot that I actually want to land. And then that puts me in a pretty good spot. I might actually just want to do just a little more. There we go. So I'm going straight down almost. Brilliant. Okay. So it looks like I'm heading for a good spot. The sun is coming up, so I will actually be able to see the ground probably a little bit, which is also good. But we are now heading just straight down the gravity well. So we're going to accelerate rather quickly for Minmus. And we're going to plan out that last minute burn here. I think probably right around 300 meters off the ice is where we want to start the burn, because we're not going to be going that fast. I might do it at 400 meters just to be safe, because I am basically doing math for landing a probe on the back of a napkin, so to speak. Yeah, I think 400 meters. 400 meters should be just fine. The beautiful thing about the ice is it is at sea level as far as Minmus is concerned. So that makes doing this much easier. Okay, almost there. 400 meters is where I'm going to hit the throttle. It did accelerate actually pretty fast there. Didn't really need to do that high up. So now we're going to be somewhat wasteful with our fuel because I kind of messed that up. Perfect. That actually was a pretty good touchdown there. Now, for business. This says must land first. What the heck? This doesn't think it's landed, I guess. Okay. Deploy drill. There we go. Radiator has to go out. And there we are, we're mining. Sun should be coming up as well. And we actually have a decent amount of fuel this time. I'm going to see how much ore I can get away with, because well, we only need 500 for the contract. Any other ore we bring up, we're going to be converting into fuel up in orbit, which is a procedure we're going to hopefully be getting rid of here. I intend to make a ice flat base where we're going to be mining and generating fuel down here. We can make a lander paired with it and a rover to carry goods between the two. That'll be a long project. That'll be its own scope. The main focus of the Deep Space Gateway around Minmus is going to be to enable us to go to Duna. We landed in a pretty good spot, so I'm kind of happy about that. I might... Well, we're missing our window here for the Prospector probe, so I might not worry about that just yet. I did want to go check on the solar probe here. So we're going to go back to Space Center and flip over to that. Keep the cough drops going so I don't cough into the microphone. So that was for the Airstream shell test. That should get us some good stuff. As long as it's on solar orbit, I should be covered. I do also have to check where my my independent solar satellite is and how that's doing. Oh, and also that we're about to get hit by a an asteroid. That's getting really close. I was toying with the idea of trying to do a redirect, but no. Nope, we're gonna see what happens. If it ends all the Kerbal kind, who cares? I'm kidding. I don't think it's gonna happen. Let's see. This should be the test vehicle. It is indeed. Alright. So this guy... I'm going to read the contract very carefully and make sure that I can actually do this. Activate the part through staging sequence when all test conditions are met. Kerbals, just don't look at it. It's fine. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself and deadly asteroids. Alright, now. I should technically be good to eject this now. I don't know if that leaves debris in space if I eject this now. Should I try and get into a really tight solar orbit and let it burn up first? Because that sounds like fun anyway. You know? And we did have a lot of fuel. Auto aim retrograde, just make that a little more efficient. I doubt we're going to have enough fuel looking at this to actually get it close enough to the sun to burn up. As entertaining as the thought is. We might get it to accidentally run into Eve or Moho. Accidentally. True, Kessler Syndrome only matters if the Kerbals survive. That is very true. Well, okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad here. We still get our test. And there you have it. That's all that was written for this little probe. But that is a contract complete, so that's pretty cool. Because that was a pretty good financially. Pretty good one to knock out of the way. Plus, it was a pain in the butt. I hate just waiting on stuff to... A rescue from the surface of Minmus. And the person has to land on Kerbin? Technically, this would fulfill another contract. Taking that one. Why not? Already got a space station around Minmus. It shouldn't be too hard. And a rescue vehicle just waiting. So, should be very easy, actually. I should work on the surface outpost. That could be fun. And the orbital station around the moon, I've already got one, but I am going to build a new asteroid base when we do finally capture a Class D asteroid. Alright, let's check real quick on the actual sun satellite. Let's see if we can't get any luck with that. That'd be Sunsat 3, I think. Yep. Infrastructure. Alright, this little guy's looking good. Yep, this has an incredibly long time before it gets to where I need it to go. I can get this pretty much where it belongs, though. A little bit of altitude change. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. There you go, just so when it finally gets where it is going, that'll have a chance of just doing that on one burn. But yeah, this guy's not making a lot of progress. This is the downside of refusing to time warp for long periods of time. Shouldn't be too hard as a summoning phrase for the Kraken. That might actually be true. There's probably some truth to that. I did have quite a few Kraken strikes on the original moon station. I did allow myself to revert save file only for that and for another major glitch or two. But that was to a ridiculous level. Now, so I got part recovery up in orbit. We are mining. I kind of want to see what happens with this asteroid, though, to be honest. Like, is it just going to burn up in the atmosphere? Probably, right? Just impending doom. Ooh. Relay network is almost equilateral again. I think it is time to fix Relay 1's orbit. So I'd put Relay 1 on a slightly tighter than geosynchronous. Geosynchronous? Yes. Geosynchronous. That's why my brain's not working. I'm trying to think of Kerbin. So geosynchronous orbit I had slightly lower. It's just so we could make it a little more equilateral between the triangle of the other two relays. But now we need to re-raise the altitude. So we want the orbital period to be exactly 6 hours. So carefully now. Perfect. Orbital period is exactly 1 day, 1 Kerbal day, which is 6 hours. Good. Now it is going at the same speed around Kerbin as the other two, so of course when the network is complete, you see the equilateral triangle here, covering all points on Kerbin. I dig it. Alright, then Mimus has very much the same going on. But I think these are falling out of sync. Yes, they are. So Relay 4 needs to slow down. So I'm going to correct that as well. I just want to make sure our communications are reliable. Having communication drop when you're trying to do a landing, for example, could really not be good. So now the question is, why is this one getting ahead? What is its orbital period? 1 day, 5 hours, 13 minutes. Okay. What is it supposed to be? Oh. So this is the good relay. In principle. So it is pretty much where it's supposed to be. I don't know why it's... Unless relay 6 is the one that's out of position. One of these clearly is. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're me and things aren't obvious. Let's see. Come on. No, they're all reading the same. So I don't know why they're so far off. So do I need to bring this one here, or I need to bring this? It looks like more of Relay 4. So I'm going to raise the orbit of Relay 4. Cause it to slow down on its orbit. Which ironically means speeding it up. Always makes me laugh about orbital mechanics. You have to speed up to orbit slower. That should do just fine. That might be overkill, actually. So I'll let that do its thing. Everything going over at the moon. Of course, the moon, you're not able to actually do a synchronous orbit because its synchronous range would be outside its sphere influence. However, I did manage to get a pretty good polar system going. Got nice and organized. I'm so proud of myself for that one. I shouldn't be. What that really means is, look how much time I had for video games instead of real life. Now, in the Kerman station, did we ever figure out the power issues going on here? Not particularly. Okay. Do you need to get the transfer vehicle out to this? Ooh, we do have a decent amount of science to radio down if this ever gets back into the sun. So let's transfer over to Jebediah Kerman Station. Nope. Nope. Okay. Let's kick that out. Where is Jebediah Kerman Station? There we go. I might have to end up doing some trash cleanup then, after this. But first, my insane, terrible idea, asymmetric transfer vehicle. Because I can. So there should be no crew. Yep, no crew on part. No crew on part. Good. That's what I wanted. As we want this to be in position to take crew back from the moon station when we're done doing all the science that we have there. So a bunch of things to refuel. So I'm just going to do them all at once because I can. And why not? Fill all the fuel tanks. This is going to take a while. This is one of those things that needs to be sped up. Like, I get it. Transferring fuel. It stinks. But does it have to stink this much? Oh, that's right. I did need to launch another capsule up as well. And I forget why I needed more crew. There was a reason. Oh, that's right. I need to replace a scientist on the station. Okay, yeah. So I need to launch a new capsule up. At the rate this is going, though, I might want to launch a new brewery capsule up for refueling. Instead of a new new man capsule. I think this little science module piece can get deorbited pretty soon. The lab is a whole other story, but that little module is kind of not doing anything for us. Not that there's very much science left to do on Kerbin right now anyway. Wow, this fuel transfer is painful. Well, and I guess the good news, with my new 24-ton launcher, it is actually cost-effective to launch large fuel tanks again. So I don't necessarily need to use a brewery capsule for refuel. I'll think about that. I'll think about how I want to do that. And this is where Steve lost all his viewers. How are my viewers today? This transfer, like, hurts. The baguette tanks aren't even done. What the heck? Is that everything? Are they all refilled? It sure looks that way. Excellent. Okay, so. Am I going to do that with monoprop? Probably not, because we already have a lot on there, and this is not going to be making a lot more journeys. I'm just trying to remember. I do have a decent core in this, if I remember right. Yes, I do have a hex core. Okay. Makes me feel a little better. Hex core is definitely better than the Octa. Alright, undock. Use RCS just to back away a little bit. Make sure we're backing away safely. Gotta check the engine settings. Should be sitting right around 90, I think, along the beginning of this flight with the current configuration. I used to need these bottom engines. I don't anymore since they nerfed the AJ-10. But thankfully I put multiple engines that could be configured in a multitude of ways, so it didn't goof up my asymmetric vehicle, because that would have really stunk. As it is, it's already pretty hard to control. Oh, don't waste monoprop on that. Always forget to disable all that monoprop stuff. Or, I guess I don't really forget, I'm just too lazy. Because I never want to use RCS for anything other than translation, so I should always just kind of disable everything but translation control on RCS. And I never do. Okay, clear the station. I don't know why I'm aiming retrograde. Should be aiming prograde. Hopefully this isn't going to make me smash into something doing this turn. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. So once I'm confident that this is free and clear, which I think it's safe to say at this point, I'm going to try and determine where we want to do our moon transfer burn, our mooner transfer burn. That's a pretty cheap burn. 800 meters per second of delta V. Ah, I'm going to go with that one. So 22 minutes away, it's going to be a 34-second burn. I do not trust that number. However, this is the closest thing we have to go off of, so we're just going to, you know, whatever. Now, because this makes me cringe, even though I do not, I'll almost never revert. I do make occasional exceptions for things that are ridiculous. I am going to do a save just to make sure that Time Warp doesn't somehow blow up our space station, because that would stink. I have seen that happen before. Okay, but we're a good distance apart now at this point. And we can go ahead and we can face prograde automatically. And by the time we're aiming the way we're supposed to be aiming, it should be nearly time to burn. We want to be about 17 seconds away when we do finally make that burn. And I do want to start a little early so I can do a quick test burn and see which way we pitch, because I did have to change our engine values here. So 20 seconds, I'm going to start, just do a quick burn, pitch down, so we need more thrust, so 100% out of this, I think. I always forget the values for this and I never write them down. And then I just do silly things. Maybe I do need these on. That's not at all what I expected. We're a little late for our burn now at this point. Huh. What's going on here? Is there some kind of weight difference I'm not considering? Wow. That is a radical difference from how it used to be. We are way late for our burn as well. It's alright. We'll make it work. A little bit of correction burn. Not really sure what I did difference weight-wise. Is it really just that I let the monoprop get run out? So I remember being able to disable those. Anyway, we still have our moon encounter plans, so things still look pretty good. No issues there. We'll turn the lights off. There's no sense in keeping those on. I'm not really sure what this thing's problem is. Or where it's controlling from, though. Oh! I know exactly what the problem is. It's controlling from the core in here. Alright, I bet that's going to actually probably foul this up. Yep, that's going to be interesting. But just the same, this bizarre craft is on the way. Nice short trip, actually, compared to some of the other stuff we do. So yeah, let's just time warp it all the way. Why not? It's only 4 hours, 45 minutes. And okay. Alright. Planet didn't explode. That's good. It's a good sign. It appeared to hit the South Pole. I'm curious now. Hang on. Is our Space Center going to be damaged? That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because I can imagine if an asteroid hit the Space Center, that would probably really stink. Nope. Everything's fine. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Curbageddon was avoided today. Don't know why I'm chewing on this cough drop. Such a terrible idea. Hey, you know, make you cough faster? Chew through that cough drop so you don't have it. Great idea, Steve. Alright. Now. More time warping. Ourselves to our periaps with the moon, do our capture burn, and try and do the rendezvous capture burn all in one, actually. Because we can. Because we can, and why not? Those are my reasons. So at perigee, we're going to add maneuver. Focus on the moon for a second. We're going to make Valentina Kerr Memorial Station our target. There we go. Get us to the right altitude. With retrograde. Then we want to change the timing by adjusting radial in and out. All right. And we can mess with inclination in the most inefficient way possible, which, you know, whatever. I'm going to try and do this all in one burn this time. Just doing it because I can do it. There you go, 0.2 is pretty good. I don't know if I can make it just a little better. 0.1, yeah. Don't want to do 0 because then I might accidentally run into the station, who knows. So we'll do all that with just one burn. Assuming we can actually be accurate with it. Which is just going to come down to whether I was able to tune these engines correctly. An 11-second burn. So we want to be about 6 seconds away from the maneuver node when we start to burn. And I'm going to hope that I got this so it's actually going to work properly. Little bit of a pitch. Little bit of a pitch, but it's doing okay. Oh, it's also, this needed to be activated. That would be probably part of it. That would probably be part of it. So, good job me on that one. Yeah, now it pitches up. That would do it. Now, some of the more intelligent people out there might be looking at this vehicle going, what the heck would you ever need this vehicle for? And I'm going to justify it just like this, and that is, I'm not smart. There we go. Oh, shoot. Why do I keep overshooting this? That's why I'm going to do this next one with RCS thrusters. Because now every little tiny maneuver I do is going to make a big impact on the final rendezvous there. Since I'm doing everything all in one. So this time we're going to use RCS thrusters. Okay. So just a little boop, 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 boop. There we go. What's our actual intersect? 3 kilometers. Great. Alright, we can BS it a little bit. BS it a little too far. Alright, I think I'm just going to take the 0.7. So yeah, let's warp our way in. Alright, I'm gonna probably try and do this one blind. Let's just try to dumb luck this one. Where's the station? Right there? Okay, that's not so bad. Aim retrograde the target. That's a lot of... So this is probably like a 9-second burn or so. So I'm probably going to need to start this pretty soon. Yep, right here. Okay, station keeping. Now we aim at the station. And we head for it. Okay. This is a little hard to control for the moment. Not sure what's the cause behind that. And I am also realizing that we probably don't have enough fuel to make the return trip on our own, so I might want to go ahead and make sure that we bring the refueler around. Craft stabilize for a second. It does like to wobble due to its insane RCS pattern. Which is why I'm taking it nice and easy, heading up to the station. And I can't really see it that well right now. It should also, hopefully, help the power problem, having the extra solar panels on station. I really cannot see the station at all. I accidentally hit the landing gear there, but at least I can see the station now with the lights on. An idea of how far away we are. I know there is literally a meter there telling me how far away I am, but visual cues help. Okay, and I'll have to navigate this to the front dock, although I might be able to just turn the station at this point, because there's really not a lot on the station. Although we're pretty well lined up, looks like. The front dock should be right about there-ish. Yep, it should be right here. Oh, and it's on the opposite side. This is one of those weird... Yep, it's on the opposite side of the station here. Optical illusion. It's right there. Yep, that's actually the dock it sent me for. Nice. Okay, we need to go down and around. And I wish I had a Kermit in there, because I would like to do first-person docking again with this, because that was really fun. But, guess I won't be doing that this time. I mean, I guess I could have a scientist bail out, fly over here, get in there, and then do it, but it's just a lot of work. I'm starting to get tired exactly at usual stream cutoff. That's bad. We're good. One of those two things. Getting very much in the routine. Okay, we're going to correct the orientation here. So that I know we're clear to dock. I guess the correct port wasn't the one we had set, so that's a good thing I checked on that. Okay. This part should be easy now. Oh, we're on rotation mode, and that is done. There we go. Should be easy as Steve screws it up. Just letting this craft just burn through RCS like it's no one's business. Getting pretty good. We can get away with that. Yep. Just a little bit of station wobbling there and all is well. Look how fast the electric charge drains. Huzzah. Turn those lights back off. Not that it's really helping. Why is this rotating back the other way? What are you doing? Is it necessary? That is a lot of, a wobble. There's a reaction wheel somewhere that's not doing what it's supposed to. Probably should have had that on full wheel authority when I was trying to, you know, not go out of control. But one of these is doing something it's not supposed to. I think I found the one. I was using the wrong reaction wheel on this too. That's cruddy. Oh, and we're not going to get a lot of sun this time around because we're getting a partial eclipse here. Okay, why does this insist on rolling back the way that it was when I just specifically rolled it to the orientation I wanted? forget, did I have any fuel left on this thing? Anywhere? I did have some. Okay. So maybe, yeah, maybe I don't need the refueler. I might be okay. Might be okay. And the scientists have their rescue vehicle all coordinated. So our lowest tech space station is actually giving us the most science. Imagine that. So what we want to do, we want to transmit science. Got a lot of science in there. This one should have plenty of science as well. Sweet, juicy science. I do like this spray paint gun style station. It looks, just the look of it looks nice. I think anyway. Everyone else probably thinks it looks ugly. But I like how it came out. And it, for an early station and the fact that it's like slowly cobbled together from a bunch of BS, it's pretty good. The original 2 modules are gone. We got rid of those. But the first modules to get added were these 2 adapters. Originally going from small port to large port. Now going from large port to small port. And this adapter, the 3rd adapter went on with them for extra power. And that's also a small port adapter. And that was small to large for the main tank back in the day. And then this got loaded, and then this got loaded, and this got loaded. Lots of fun. So they replaced the whole station. Alright. I feel a lot better about having the transfer vehicle ready to rescue them if need be. I might just go ahead and refuel it now rather than later. Because we will not be making any more landings in the immediate future. So I really don't care about leaving those unfueled. I think that was it for fuel, though. Oh, wow, this is fully fueled as well. Well, I'll be darned. Nice. Now, we do still need to go to Min-Miss. Should be able to fix relay 4 in just a second. Or more like 2 hours. That looks much more equilateral than it did. Still not perfect, but definitely in the good enough category. So now we want to go retrograde. One day, 5 hours, 13 minutes. Perfect. We're back onto the correct orbit. Now, possibly this one needs to catch up. Relay 6 might need to catch up, actually. Because these two look like they're in position now, and this one needs to be adjusted. But I might do that another time. This is at least good enough for the moment. So, meanwhile, on the Deep Space Gateway, we should have some science to send back here. Yes, we do. Should be able to switch back to my lander as well. And hopefully we've gotten a decent amount of ore from that. How are we doing? Not so great. We still need to be mining for a while. Temperature? Yep. Temperature's good. Is this another flat? Or is this the same Great Flats? Yep, still Great Flats. Yeah, whatever. Just keep that experiment. That's what I expected. Okay, so that's got a little bit of mining left to do. Nope, not what I wanted to zoom in on. There we go. Kerbin. Switch to Jeb Station, because I don't remember if I actually sent the science out of Jeb Station that was there. Go ahead and do that. Yep, I didn't. Transmit science. Not as impressive as some of the others. Oh, and I never did launch the capsule up today. I probably should, huh? Alright, since everything seems to be working well on the stream today, I might do that real quick. Because I do need to actually test the new launcher for it as well. I have not launched it on the current launcher. Doing it manned will probably be dangerous, but, you know, sometimes you gotta take risks. 449 science. What can we get with 449 science? We can do the larger tanks. Advanced metalworks. We can do advanced landing. Specialized control. Unmanned tech might be a thing that I need to do. This would then have radial normal altitude hold. but doesn't have the thing I really want, which is target hold, or maneuver hold, rather. Larger solar arrays, rechargeable banks, fuel cells. I don't know how I feel about the fuel cells. Seems like a waste. Larger wheels. That is something we do need. If I am going to be making a base on Minmus, I might have to pick that up sooner rather than later. Better drone core and... Well, how good is this drone core? Let's just see. Target tracking. That's the one I wanted. And maneuver hold. I don't know. This kind of, you know, built for a specific purpose, with it, which is kind of a space shuttle, and I kind of don't want a space shuttle. Ion propulsion still out of reach for us. Oh. Larger landing struts would also help. Well, this is kind of tough. Picking what I should be going for. I never did unlock the nuclear engine officially. I've ignored aerodynamics like completely. I don't need any of this stuff. I do need that landing strut, though. That landing strut is what is tempting. As are these. Cheaper probe, better probe. That's a good combo. But I'm gonna end up doing this, I think. I have to do this. I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. Well, let me start with the cheaper one, because I need to do both these combined. Don't have enough to do both yet. We'll do that while I make up my mind. In case I want to save up for something else. And let's set ourselves up for Actarius capsule up to Jebediah Kerman Station. So, we want the Actarius, which is 6.7 tons. That is our standby. And for that, we want to go by cost. And that would be a Decanus 1 Heavy. So that is our cheapest launcher we have available for this. It is low on the per ton cost as well. 1,412 funds per ton to orbit. That is, of course, if my math was correct on this one when I made it. But considering the other one was dead on, the Decanus 1, the non-heavy version, going to assume my math was correct on this one. Need to fix the staging a lot. So we need to fix that. Put that there. And we need the... Nope. The 2 Werner engines, the main engine on the bottom. Yep. Fairing will go second. And the second stage should go... Okay. And we separate the capsule out. Activate the capsule's engines. We can do that on the same thing. We're going to need the separators for the boosters here. That's going to be to separate the capsule, then do the drogues, and then do the main. And I can get rid of one of these drogues, I think. Yeah, but I won't. Okay, now. Abort action sequence. We're going to need this if we're going to use a rocket for the first time on this. So, abort action sequence. Abort action sequence is going to do this. Activate engine. Decouple. We're going to use the second stage to separate, which on paper is a really bad idea. And that's because it's, in practice, a really bad idea. But if we do that, I think that'll give us the gimbal control we need to get out from under this. Drop the fairing. Then we can deploy this and deploy the chutes. So, if everything goes to shit, I think we could just barely save our crew. So let's pick our crew carefully. Eloise will go first. Oh, look at this. I've got a brand new, inexperienced pilot, scientist, engineer. Perfect. Totally inexperienced? Go for it. Although, Rosby I'm going to keep. I'm going to put Theory, the new guy. Because he's even newer. Alright, super cheap rocket. For the win. Let's just, let's see how it goes. How do you get these top-heavy non-wing things to orbit? I'll never know. Well, the fact that they're top-heavy is actually what makes them stable. It's actually... the wings would be redundant. So the whole thing with that is because you've got a very light, long tail here that has nothing sticking out, is this light, long tail, as it wiggles each direction to where it would be non-prograde, what will happen is the air resistance of it tipping out will hit that very long surface, and it'll be more air surface hitting that long tail than hitting the nose, and will actually straighten it back out. So really, if you think of it that way, the entire bottom section tank is actually the fin. In a manner of speaking. Alright, and we are actually in pretty good position to launch to the station here. I'm going to let it pass us by a little bit, because we do want to be in a lower orbit when we launch, because this is not the greatest vehicle for getting up to a very high orbit, I'm sure. Considering it is designed to barely get 7 tons to orbit. Who knows, maybe it'll overperform, but I doubt it. And off we go. So we've got 2 Twitch engines for the gimbal control. We've got a Kodiak for the main thruster. Of course, 2 BACC boosters. That'll get us up to our gravity turn before we have to deploy those. Right at about 10,000 meters. Perfect. Just a little over, not by much. Alright, now. I'm going to have to nose over hard, because our gimbaling engines are not very strong. They're also not doing a good job controlling our roll like they're supposed to. And suddenly I've got very great control. This might have just been the altitude I decided to do that at. And we are... Wow, okay, yep. Already looking very good from a standpoint of apogee, so we can just kind of flatten out. Now we're going to shallow out the suborbital trajectory, so we can give our second stage a little bit of an easier run of things. We can ditch the fairing already. Yeah, this is going very well. Okay. Now we need to plan the maneuver here. We're going to see that timer come down a lot once we get into space, although we're going to probably need to burn immediately. Like as soon as we get to space. If not, we're probably already missing our window. A little bit, yeah, we're missing our window. So we're separating off. This will cause us to do a little more of a pitch up than we would have needed to. And yeah, it looks like we'll have enough Delta V. About the same extras we had on the Optio with the 5-ton launch. So that all looks good. A little bit of steering loss there, but nothing this stage can't handle. We already are back on descent, which is upsetting at the moment. We're about to go back into the atmosphere, actually. So next time I need to be more careful about that. Oh yeah, our periaps is not looking good. Yeah, we need to be more careful about that next time. want to do that. I want to do... Thank you. Radial burn. We're going to just waste the last of our fuel here. Do a radial burn. Just going straight up. There we go. Just out of the atmosphere, just a little longer. Right, we'll aim prograde. And we'll ditch this lower stage. There's one thing in the Optio I need to change. It have to be at least 3 of those engines so that it doesn't go all unstable. Okay, this looks a little better. Still need to do a little more to get us out of the atmosphere now. And I wish I had remembered to take that off of auto aim prograde there. There we go. So I would not have looked so stupid. So now go back up. Okay, well that just kind of hurt more than it helped. So we need to actually go ahead and set this up so we do a totally safe orbit. Maybe do intersect while we're at it. That'd be neat. Oh, that made it worse. So we need less. Ah, less is more. Whoop. I'll settle for the 1 kilometer. That should be fine. At least then it's only 1 burn. So we're going to have a 19-second burn to pull that off. Okay, it's about 10 seconds away from the maneuver. We're going to go full throttle. A little bit of correction. Started to wobble a little bit too much there, so I kind of cut it early. Okay. It's 1.2 kilometer. That's lame. Let's see if we can't fix that at the descending node. Yeah, it's a little better. It's a lot better. Let's go with that one. Okay, warping to the next maneuver. Okay. So just a 1 second burn to fix inclination. Tiny itty bitty bit of correction. Okay. Alright. And from here we can just kind of approximate. We can just do the rest of this with the seat of our pants. So just time warp till we're near our closest approach, which should actually technically be an impact, which is not what we want to do, obviously. Okay, things are starting to slow down game engine wise, so probably time I start worrying about this. Yep. That's the second time I've seen that. Not sure if it was